Any other use of this telecast, or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without Cactus Media X or Arizona Cactus Football League's consent is prohibited.
What's up, Bush, my man? Hello, CFL world. This is Matt Archer, the commissioner of the league. Just bringing you the commish picks this week. Did not get a chance to get it out there, unfortunately. Just time got away from me. So I thought I would test run this, see how it goes. To my front of me is my man Bush, who most of you guys know probably more than me. Introduce yourself, Bush. Say hi.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Matt gave me an opportunity to come out and hang out with him this evening and do some picks. I know a lot of y'all like to see the stuff on the page, so it should definitely be interesting.
They have a lot to say, choice words about me at the end of the day. But, hey, you know what, man? It's all fun and games. It's definitely it's fun for me. Gives me a chance to kind of poke some fun at some people here and there. So I'm sure we'll do that a little bit tonight.
Definitely.
Let's have some fun with these guys and hope they go for it. So first game, Bush, what's on the list, man? What's the first game we get to talk about?
First game is going to be the Phantoms versus the Bucks.
Oh, that's going to be a high-profile game, I think. I guess I'll go first.
Yeah.
I know you're going to talk about it, but I think the Phantoms are struggling with a little bit of personnel issues this week. So we'll see what they end up what they come with. I know their quarterback's out. Unfortunately, unsportsmanlike conduct violation, so it's out for the week. But the Bucks they're struggling. I mean,
yeah,
I'm a little disappointed. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm just a little disappointed with the hype and all that preseason. I don't know if you want to call it bullshitting, but somebody was on the internet boosting a lot. So, they just need to fix it. That's really the best I could tell you.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of hype.
So we'll see. I know my man Rico's holding it down. It's always fun to watch him play, no matter what team he's on, who he's with, or anything like that. So, but usually I spend a half hour, 45 minutes on each one of these matchups and write it all up. So I plan on not doing that tonight. Let's try to keep it within 10 minutes of each other, so we don't have to be here for 5 hours. So let me know what the comments are coming up. We can definitely address some of those guys, but
just a couple of people just saying, "Don't be nice."
Don't be nice.
That's,
See,
Mr. Rob Gray.
Yeah, that's the problem. People they say that and then they get mad when I'm not nice.
You're not wrong.
Don't make me pull up the Rebels stats later. We can talk about that. So back to the original pick. I'm gonna have to go with the Phantoms, to be just blatantly honest with you, just because the Phantoms, they're 1-2, but not by much. I think between the two games, it's 6 points, 7 points. I mean, it's like one touchdown between the two games. So, the Bucks unfortunately aren't firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, both teams are 1-2. The funny part with this game, and I think we talked about it last week after both of those teams had taken a loss. The loser of this match goes to 1-3. The winner goes to 500, 2-2. So,
I think if you, the way our standards are set up, if you drop below 500, playoffs are pretty much like.
It's going to be interesting. It's a tough hole to climb out of. Not that it can't be done, but definitely not an easy thing to do, especially with the level of talent that's in that, in that top bracket there. So
yeah. Shout out to my man Fisher for joining the Phantoms. I'm excited to see him. I know last week he only had I think 2 practices under his belt before that big game. So we'll see, if him and Derek can pull it off. Shout out to Brad for holding that defense together. I think this will be the first time I get to actually watch the Bucks play.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's a 10 o'clock game, so I know that with those early games, whether it's an 8 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, heck, I hate to say it, any game really, you got people that are always going to stroll in right before kickoff, right before game time, but especially in those 10 o'clock games.
Yeah.
It's just, I hate to say it, but you're going to see both teams, I feel like, are going to have people coming in right before kickoff, and I think that hopefully doesn't impact the game. I think it's going to start off really slow, or the other way around. I think you're going to see some really, big plays quickly.
Yeah.
It's one of those that I think whichever team jumps out first, gets the upper hand. I know you mentioned the Phantoms taking the win. I have the Phantoms as well with my pick of 16-12 to win the game, but
You're a little nicer than me. I got 18-7 Phantoms. I'll give Rico at least one touchdown. Actually, I don't even know if I'd say his offense. That might be a pick six, rolling with the backup quarterback.
So that's the interesting part when we talk about a matchup. So when I think about the Phantoms, you mentioned their quarterback is going to be out. So now I'm wondering, with that pick, who's going to be the backup quarterback? Who's going to come in? I know, I believe Isaac has played quarterback for them in the past. Very capable quarterback. Just don't know if he's done it in a while. So it'll be interesting to see. I know that they have some playmakers though at receiver. You got Marco. You got a few other guys out there, and then obviously with their running game, it's an interesting matchup. But the Bucs defense isn't a slouch either.
Yeah, no, definitely.
The Bucs have a lot of playmakers on offense.
Yeah,
it's a matter of, are they going to be able to get them the ball? I know sitting there watching the game last week, they really only had, I want to say, 2 linemen. Interesting part for me, I know Jacob Reed, I believe, played for that team, if I'm not mistaken, and I believe he was playing right tackle because they were missing linemen. So not that a tight end normally can't block, but you'd much rather have him out on the field trying to catch the ball rather than blocking for you.
We know he's slow as hell, so shout out to my man Reed. I know he's up there in the senior citizen bracket like me. So, but all right, so Phantoms on top, right, for both of us.
Yeah,
awesome. Next game, who you got?
Next game we have it's actually the Tucson Thunder and the Tucson Demons.
Oh yeah, so this is supposed to have been their home game, but unfortunately the schools are still kind of being difficult down there, and just working on trying to get that open. As soon as they reopen down there, we will be moving all their home games back down there for them and their fans. But since they're playing up here, I think we all know the Demons do not travel well. I've said that from my first year in the GFL when they were over in the AZFL. And, so I'm going to have to give this one to the Thunder, 24-12. They showed a lot to me this last week.
Yeah.
Coming off that loss against the Owls 2 weeks ago. And they showed up last week, and I think they punched some people in the mouth.
Yeah, it's still interesting to me. They after week 1, talking to some of their players, they switched from a conventional offense, passing the ball a bunch.
Yep.
Switching to the wing T, and a lot of people, watching them week 1, they didn't have any false starts, no fumbles. It looked like a well-oiled machine. Come out, week 2, and it's a completely different thing. You're looking at them against the Owls, and they look like a completely different team. Ball hit the ground 3 times on fumble. They just looked really out of sorts, but they always travel well. And they're going to continue, I think, the ground and pound with that wing T, and it starts to wear those teams down, especially when you have a team potentially. Hopefully the Demons travel well this week. I know historically they don't. Hopefully they do.
We've been trying to give them middle of the game, like middle of the day game, so they could travel and still have time to get home. And I don't know what's going on, man, but they just cannot. Even we were out in Santan, they still were light when they played. The Spartans, they were still a little didn't seem like all the uniforms were filled. So, but I think this one's gonna be a battle of the desert. Thunder 24, Demons 12.
So I'm looking at this, and someone made a comment, and it's interesting. They made a comment that a lot of the Thunder players bailed and went to the Demons, so they know a lot of their tricks. So that'll be interesting to see.
To my man Rob Gray, I'm about to be whatever he said, be harsh. The players they lost, I don't think bring him any pluses. The players that transferred from the Thunder back to the Demons, I don't think they're going to do anything to make it to where it's that big of a difference when you actually get into gameplay.
Yeah, the ones that are interesting for me, I believe he had the game-winning touchdown actually against the Bucs. Got the roster here, number 15, D. Lee. He's open a lot. Bigger guy. Looks more of like a tight end than a receiver, but they split him out a lot. Makes a lot of plays. Good out there in the run game as well. So be interesting to see. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. But yeah, I have the Thunder winning that game as well, 18-6.
Okay, so we're about the same ratio.
Right around the same there. So looking forward to a good game though.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be a fun game for sure. I think we got the Headhunters Scorpions next.
Yep, Headhunters Scorpions will be
Oh man, this one's gonna be fun. I think this is our first game at Cortez, right? Is this our 10 o'clock game at the main field? Yeah. Or no, this is the third game of the day.
Yeah, I believe this is over at Cortez.
Cool.
I really don't know where to start with this one. Think about the Scorpions. I expected them to. I don't know what I kind of expect from them. I expected them to come in. You know, they show heart every week. I mean, they've been in the league now, I believe this is their third season.
Yep.
You know, and they started with low numbers. You know, they always show up every single week and play. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They're going to give you 60 minutes of football.
Yep.
It's just a matter of, I think, their numbers, sometimes the lack of depth gets to them, and it starts to hurt them a little bit.
Definitely. I think that starts at the top of the team, too. You know, I think that's definitely starts at the top with, you know, the owner down to the head coach, down to whoever's also in the mix with them. But I got a soft spot for that team just because the heart they give, you know, every week in and out. You know, just something's not clicking this year. Last year I thought they were getting there. I think they had a first win last year. And they gave the Outlaws a run for their money last year. They gave the Outlaws a run for money last week, too.
I was just about to say that. Last week, it wasn't. I don't think many people went into that game thinking that wouldn't be a blowout. You know, if you look at a lot of people, what the talks were, it was, even myself and my picks, I believe I had the Outlaws winning by 3 or 4 scores.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and to see, I think it was only 12-0.
Yeah.
A little bit of a surprise, but the Headhunters are an iffy team for me, and I say that because they have playmakers. I want to say it's number 13, I believe, Lucky.
Yeah, he's got to get his mouth under control, though. I think that's one of the players that might be him. There's so many of them. Actually, I take that back. That was 13 from the Demons. My fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never mind. Sorry, Lucky. My bad. Trying to keep 900 players, you know, numbers and names straight is a little difficult for this old guy. So
it's gonna be interesting, though. I know that they definitely have, you know, some athletes. It's just a matter of, can they get the ball to them. I didn't really get to see much of them last week. I did watch a little bit of film, but I think that one, I'm going with the Headhunters in that game. Yeah. I think it's going to be a close game, though. I have the Headhunters 12, Scorpions 6.
Yep. This will be the first time I get to watch a full game of theirs because I'll be at the school by the time they start. So I'll be up in the press box taking my notes and be on the sideline, you know, letting old Bill know what needs to be fixed with his team. And, you know, but I've always heard they're kind of late to the show, if that's the way to put it. They always start the season off a little slow, getting the players geared up. And, you know, I saw the roster. They had Carl Mentz.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you pronounce his name? I love that guy. He's just a hell of a football player and a leader. So, yeah, but for me, I think you're right on the same track, man. This will be the second win the Headhunters pull out. And unfortunately, the Scorpions are going to drop to 0-4, I think.
Yeah, it'll be 0-4 on the season. Headhunters go to, I believe, 2-2 on the season. Yep. So it's a good look for them if that ends up being the case. It'll be, I believe they're in the, what bracket are they in? They're in the.
They're both in the Cholo.
The Cholo, yeah.
So it's a conference game for sure. So that's a big play, you know.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Cool. Reapers Tigers game. We'll skip to the game of the week to do last, but Reapers Tigers.
Should be an interesting one as well. I know the Reapers are coming off a last-second victory over the Hawks last week in a pretty ugly game, to say the least. It was a lot of drop passes on both sides for both teams. You know, a lot of big plays that were missed, whether they were coming back for penalties, teams shooting themselves in the foot, and then for that game with 8.8 seconds left to come down to a pass that should have probably been a pick six going through the Hawks cornerback's hands, gets tipped and ends up in the Reapers receiver's hands for the game-winning touchdown with 8.8 seconds left.
Okay.
So
I see him. You know, Reapers, you know, they've had a lot of internal turmoil going on, not to get petty on Friday, but a lot of drama heading into that team internally, and I hope they get. I ain't gonna lie, this might be a family show, but for better lack of words, get their shit together. Like they've got to. I always tell Tyler, like, your internal house is going to cost you your games, and he, so, but, shout out to them. The Tigers almost didn't have a game this week. They had a lot of post-game shenanigans.
I heard about that. Okay.
I addressed it with the team, with the owners, just kind of, just said these, people are out. One guy's serving a 3-game suspension.
Okay.
2 other guys are serving 1 game. So, that's the part of the job I hate.
Yeah.
They make me have to, be the bad guy. But honestly, they got to start controlling their emotions, man. So this game is going to be a little intense because I know both teams have a hard time. They got a lot of on-the-field emotions and just people that can't seem to get their mental stuff in check. So, shout out to Dennis and Tyler for, doing the best they can to pull those guys from wherever they've been. But at the end of the day, man, like, you got to be able to just, come off the sideline and, it was a controversial loss. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I didn't get to see it firsthand. I saw it on film. I'll kind of I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Saw some, I believe it was that game that I saw where, bad call puts it, it is what it is. I mean, I hate to say it, and I've said this, even from when I used to play, one play doesn't change the course of a game to where you leave it in the ref's hands potentially. If the game's 40-0 and a bad call happens, now it's a different story, right?
Yeah.
So
that's what I tell them.
Sucks when it happens that
hey,
way.
Your refs suck, whatever. Hey, listen, man, we all make mistakes. It is what it is. But you left it in the ref's hands. Like, you didn't stop that new team with 22 guys. You know what I mean? Like, you can't blame the ref for that one play. Like, you let them score. So
we got a comment here.
Okay.
They talking about what did he say? Convict you is what they're calling the Reapers. I'm sorry. What, really? Bro, really? That's what we're doing?
Convict you.
Convict you. Okay.
Well, I mean, Tyler did say he was working on a reality show for his team, so there's the title, Tyler. There you go. Convict you.
Copyrights, Ro, I won't take that from you if Tyler ends up using that.
Nope, that's Cactus Media X owned right there. So if you
oh man,
but
yeah.
Back to the scores.
Yeah,
man.
sorry, yeah.
No, you're good. You're good. So Reapers, I got the Reapers ahead on this. I think the Tigers. I don't know how to. No matter how I say this, is going to be throwing shade. Hopefully, these guys take it as criticism to help them do better. But they got to start playing as a team.
Yeah, that's what I've seen on film. It looks like
too many individuals. Mm-hmm. You got a good-hearted coach. Dennis is trying to pull it together. He's trying to model it after a couple big teams, but I think he's missing the wrong pieces. Unfortunately, not everybody can be an Outlaws or a Spartans or a Rebels. Like, you have to start at the bottom. You have to pick the best parts. So
I could agree with that.
But I'll leave it at that. If anybody wants my, in-depth site, we can have a private conversation at the field.
Yeah.
But I got the Reapers 18, Tigers 6.
Okay, and I actually, it's funny. I actually agree 100% with that. I'm taking the Reapers this one. I know a couple of the guys on the Reapers didn't like that I picked against them the first couple of weeks.
They never do. They never like it.
But like I always say, show me. It's one where I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what I really truly think, whether it's right or not. I don't know. I'm doing somewhat well so far this season, 17-7 on the picks.
Oh, I'm horrible this year.
Last
year I was good. This year, I don't know. I need to watch more film.
Yeah, you definitely. It's interesting to see, but yeah, I've got the Reapers taking this one 18-6. I want to give I think the Tigers, like I said on film, I think that they have a lot of good young talent, and I think they can make a little bit of noise, but I just need to see it.
Yeah.
I need to see it all put together, not just one or two plays. So.
It's funny you talk about records. Somebody tried to throw a jab at me and call me out on Red Zone about my records for the picks. And my comment to him was, I make the championship no matter my record. But anyways,
This is true.
Shout out to my man. He knows who I am. I guarantee you he's watching this right now because he's waiting for me to get to the game of the week. So I got Reapers 18, Tigers 6.
Yep, we agree on that. Yes, sir. Cool. 18-6.
Next one is the Owls-Titans game.
Yep, Owls-Titans. Yes, sir.
I'll go first, man. Shout out to my men, Titans, getting their first win, regardless of how it came. They I went to a practice, kind of gave them a little prep talk, just let them know, you got to start here, there, this, that, and the other. They took it to heart, and, they made some adjustments. And shout out to them for last week's win. I don't know if they'll get this week.
Yeah,
as much
as
the
Owls, okay.
The Owls like to think I'm against them all the time. I'm actually really one of their biggest fans, just in the closet about it. But I don't know, whatever's happening with that ghost offense, it seems to be doing something. I mean, what are they, 2-1 right now?
Yeah, they are 2-1. Yes.
Yeah, back-to-back wins. No? Yeah.
No.
They lost week 1, then they went back-to-back. Or did they lose to the? I don't know. I gotta look at the things.
They lost last week. They lost to the Headhunters last week, so they're
1-2.
Yeah, I had to think about that for a second.
That's a tough loss right there for last week. But this week, I don't have no doubts. I think they're gonna pull this one out. I know my man Gatlin. I know you laughing over there. I'm just waiting.
No,
Guys, listen.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing at the comments, and we'll
mean.
have to go back and watch it because I thought I wasn't gonna say anything, but someone said. Matthew Nintin said, Matt's in the closet. What?
Oh, these guys.
Yeah, I was going to bypass it. I was going to bypass it.
Listen, all y'all listening, $20 is $20. That's all I'm going to tell y'all. All right, so
I don't condone what he just said, but we're going to bypass that. Back to the games here.
All right, back to business. So the Owls, my man Dominic Johnston.
Yep.
Holding it down. I know I got to go look at the stats, but I don't think he's had a stat season this year.
No,
man, is he clutch? Is he just the dude that holds the team together? Him and my man Gatlin. I think that's how you pronounce his last name, right?
Yeah.
That dude's a beast. I wish he was a little younger. I wish he was a little younger. I'd get him on a pro team somewhere. We would really push him. So, but I got the Owls for this one. I think the Ghost offense is going to have a heyday.
So I don't think it's going to be I agree with you. So I do have the Owls winning this game, but I don't think it's going to be because of their offense.
I think it's going to be the defense?
I think it's going to be their defense.
Okay.
I was actually talking to Raph about this the other day, and number 34 for them, Richard Mitchell, is a game changer.
I don't even know why I forgot him.
And he can actually play. I mean, he'll play tight end for them as well.
Dude.
Come in and set the edge.
Remember him playing the Thunder 2 weeks ago?
That's my point.
Damn,
so
he was just murdering those dudes.
That's my point though. So when you think about that game changer, a lot of these teams, they either don't know who he is until game day and they find out, or teams that do know who he is and they're sending a running back and let's say a tight end or a tackle to try to block him. And the plays that stand out for me were two different plays, and in the Thunder game, and they run a reverse opposite his side. He ends up making the play from the opposite side when the play is going away from it. And we're not talking about a 5-yard play. He's running, all the way across the field to make that play. So when I say that, I think the defense comes up big. Whether it be sack, fumble, interception, that defense has been playing pretty well. I don't know what happened last week. I know getting updates, the Owls were up most of the game.
Yeah, honestly, I think they got tired.
Okay, that would make sense.
That's the only thing I could put it on is you got tired or you ran out of plays.
Because I know I was watching the updates and ended up seeing the Headhunters pull that one out. So I think that the defense, I think the defense gets it done there. So. Yeah. I'm going to go with 12-6 Owls.
Speaking, we're talking about Mitchell and his plays. I practiced with him before I owned the Spartans, and he was blocked. I was trying to block him.
Let's clarify.
Yeah, I was just standing there, basically. And he kept running through me, and he looks at the coach and goes, "This is the best you got?" Dude, I never felt so little in my life. I'm 6'3", 300 pounds, and this dude's like, "This is the best you got." Like, how he talks. Like, I was so embarrassed. So, yeah, I walked off the field. I said, "Hey, coach, that dude's on the team. I appreciate his input, but because he had just came out of college.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he probably in the best shape of his life at that point. But just the way he said it, man, I never felt so little. But shout out to Mitchell, man. He's a good dude. Work ethic is crazy.
Yeah.
Looks at life a little weird, but anyways. But, yeah. No, definitely. He, he shout out to him, man. He's going to have a great season. I'm hoping to see him as Defensive Player of the Year, qualifies, that sort of thing. So
should be interesting. I know somebody just commented, and that makes me wonder. I'm curious on that same thing, kind of. When I think about the, we were talking about the Phantoms Bucks, but somebody mentioned that the Owls quarterback might have been hurt, so they might be playing with a backup this week.
They were playing with a backup.
Were they last week as well?
And against the Thunder.
Okay.
He was on a sideline with his hand all bandaged up.
Gotcha. Okay.
They still scored and won. That's Daniel Smith's old buddy from high school.
Okay. Gotcha.
I think
Okay.
He's old quarterback from either there or GCC. But yeah, no, I don't think that's going to make a.
Still don't know if that changed anything for me. I still think
not in this game it won't.
Still think it's a low scoring game there. So we'll go 12-6 Owls.
Okay.
I know they've been giving me a lot of grief, fellas. I picked y'all this week. I picked y'all last week, too. You let me down, but I'm coming back to y'all this week. Show me something.
Yeah. No, I think they're going to be good. Cool. Moving on. Got the next one. Silverbacks versus the Hawks. Ooh, there's some gossipy shit going on over in the Hawks den today, actually. I got a message from a player.
Saw that on Red Zone today.
Shout out to my man AC Caswell, Ace, whatever he calls himself.
Yeah, not sure what he's going by. He's gonna be.
I hope he's in football. I hope he's in football shape because his uncle Martwan ain't.
Oh yeah,
20 fat and slow this
20
year.
playing tight end now.
Oh, tight end. That fool should be on the line. He should be wearing 79, not freaking 81. But
that's another story.
We'll get onto that one.
Spartans are off this week, so we'll.
They're still gonna get their critique this week. But yeah, back to the Silverbacks Hawks game. So I think the Hawks are gonna show up. I think they're excited to travel. It's a young team, but Silverbacks are just in my opinion, they're steamrolling people.
Silverbacks are on a roll right now.
Yeah.
That defense is clicking.
You know who runs that defense, right?
I believe it's
shout out to my man Jeffrey Lee.
Is it Jeff Lee?
If he's still there.
Okay.
Interesting. I haven't checked the roster in the last couple of weeks, but he was there when they started the season, so I'm assuming he's still there.
Okay. Interesting.
Any turmoils going on?
Well,
upstairs.
that would explain. I know. When Jeff used to play, it was a problem back there on the back end of the defense. So it's would make sense.
Yeah.
Would make sense. I know that team's been rolling. To start the season out, coming out 3-0, right?
Yeah, 3-0. I think they're 2-0 in the conference play too.
Yeah, 2-0 in the conference play, and then they beat the Outlaws. Which I think surprised a lot of people.
I have my thoughts on that. I think the Outlaws, they always travel well because their owner's a super dude and gets them a bus. So I don't think it had anything to do with the numbers. I think it was the altitude and the temperature.
Yeah.
They're at 6,000 feet, and it was cold.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Those guys practice in that shit twice a week for the last 6 months. So the Silverbacks are used to playing in that stuff.
True. They practice in it.
But that doesn't take away from them scoring points and winning. Like, they still won the game.
Very true.
So.
Just real quick, Raph said Jeff doesn't want your shout-out, Matt. Keep it to yourself. Got you, Raph. All right.
I don't know
back
where
to
he
the
would have said that, but.
Back to the game. It's gonna be. This is an interesting one for me. A lot of people said when the Silverbacks came over from the other league, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were gonna get blown out by every team they played. Yep. Didn't matter just because of the connotation of the other league, coming over from the DFL. So, with that being said, they're showing people that it's not just they can compete. Mm-hmm. I'm interested to watch. I don't know. I have to take a look at the rest of their schedule, but I'm interested to see this game, how this one goes. But I definitely they can compete. I'm pretty big on the Silverbacks. The team that's interesting for me though is the Hawks. In looking at their roster and some of the guys that are there, I don't know a lot of the guys, but I do know some of the bigger names. You've got. A transfer came in. You got T Wavy coming in from the Roll Tide. So that was a good pickup, right?
Yep.
You look at now. I know he won't be there this week, from what I've been reading on Red Zone. But you've got Austin coming in.
Yep.
And then the kid that surprised me, I don't know if he's new. Maybe somebody can tell me this year. But number 14. So I have him here on the roster, Nathaniel Clement. And I apologize if I said the name wrong, but kid is a baller.
Yep.
2 touchdowns in his first game, played hurt the first game from what I could tell. Been balling out. His quarterback's just got to be able to get him the ball. And that's the interesting part in that game for me. And I think somebody just mentioned it on here that the Hawks defense is better, and that the Silverbacks haven't played anybody. So
yeah,
interesting to hear that they played the Outlaws.
Is that some shade thrown at the Outlaws? I always thought the Outlaws were a competitive team.
I thought the Outlaws were a competitive team. I'll leave that one alone. We'll kind of get there. I'm seeing the Outlaws are garbage from what people are saying. So
yeah.
we'll leave that one alone. But needless to say, I think the Hawks are an intriguing team for me. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they can get the ball. I don't know if the quarterback can get the playmakers the ball.
Yeah,
that's the interesting
part
for me.
Seems like he's scrambling a lot, huh?
The line's not.
I watched.
That'll kind of come into one of the other games that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But if your quarterback can't throw the ball, it doesn't matter how many playmakers you have.
Yep.
If they can't get the ball to them, it's tough. But I think in this one, I'm going with the Silverbacks in this one. 30-12 is what I'm going to go with. I think that altitude, I think, is going to play a big part there. I hope the Hawks show me something different, though.
I know the altitude's going to play big on their owner, Robert Blue. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
But shout out to Rome, for taking up the defense. He switched over to safety this year. Got some good coaches in there, too.
Yeah.
Ray Brooks and his buddy, I don't know the coach's name, but, just the way they command the sideline and handle their business off the field. You can tell it's starting to work. And I don't always like to look at just the record on how a team's doing, because they say winning always covers stuff up. But, I'm going to go with the Silverbacks too, 36 to the Hawks 6. I think they're going to struggle a little bit by the time they get acclimated to the altitude, it's going to be too late. Silverbacks are going to be so far ahead of them that they're not going to be able to handle any of that.
Yeah, that's the interesting part for me there is I hope that it doesn't go that way because it can end up being a long game. And I think with the Silverbacks, I think somebody just made another comment too here, but the Silverbacks have a good O-line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that the Hawks don't have a good O-line because I see people making those comments. I just haven't seen enough, from them. And line play, as we all know, the line is huge. So, a lot of you guys may not like to hear that. Show me something different. Come back on here if we, if you want to go on the, page or whatever and, say I told you so. Feel free, but show me something. Show me something different and show me that I'm wrong. I have no problem saying I'm wrong if that's the case. So.
Yep. But hopefully they travel well. We always know teams that travel well have a better chance. So, all right, Silverbacks 36, Hawks 6. What'd you have?
30-12 Silverbacks over the Hawks. So.
Okay. All right. 2 more games left, and then we can get into some general conversations and maybe some things happening around the league.
Yep. Sounds good.
So this one, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was a little disappointed when Ben told me he got his home field for those Lions games because I was looking forward to watching this one. But I'm glad he was able to finally get his stuff figured out and get that done. So we're moving on to the Lions Outlaws game.
Lions Outlaws.
I could talk on this game for 5 hours, but
we got some time. Maybe not 5 hours, but we do have a little bit of time. So I'm curious on your thoughts on that because I have some thoughts on this one as well.
Not. I don't want to get into red zone petty Friday shit, but shout out to Tavani for taking my comments serious and
he was just on here yawning, just to give you a heads up. So I'm
That's
sure he might wake up a little bit now. We'll see.
mean, if he really, the point is like what I say is just in fun, and some of these guys take it too serious, and whatever fuels his fire to keep winning football games, hey, whatever, man, make as many T-shirts as you want. I don't really personally care how many he wants to waste his money on me. Hey, cool, whatever. But he is doing a good job. I know they've had some pieces. They got some players out this week, so they're making the adjustments, regardless of my personal feelings towards people and this, that, and the other. I'll always give credit where it's due. Being a first-time head coach, running the whole team pretty much by himself, coaching wise, when it comes to offense, defense. Like, there's something to be said about that, you know. So, you know, it's funny. The petty side is he's yawning at it, but he's still watching.
Yeah. Funny. That's what Raph said right after he said that. So
bro,
he said you're watching.
Yeah,
so
you're
interesting.
watching. So hey, but you know, Ben's got some weapons over there. You know, I would like to see Kenny Mitchell a little more in the game.
Yeah, that's been kind of surprising to me because you bring that up, and it's interesting because they had a triple-headed monster last year. I think Kenny was hurt last year, if I'm not mistaken,
season,
but he came over from, wasn't the Sergeants that he came over from?
Mm-hmm.
I believe. And, you know, when I saw that team between, you know, Ben, you know, Kenny, and then Anthony Dixon, right? And
you had Fisher.
And you had Fisher still at that point.
John Litchie, I think, was still there for the first couple games. But, yeah.
It's surprising. So for him to come back, yeah, Kenny will definitely be. It's interesting because I haven't seen anybody else really on the field at the running back position for the most part.
Well, and the sad part is when you look at stats, I think they had 36 rushing yards against the Spartans, and most of those were Ben's carries. I think I have to go back and look at the actual stats, but that dude's a workhorse, man.
Yeah,
like
for a smaller back. Definitely is a workhorse.
Both ways, special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes, you know, you gotta give somebody else that opportunity to make it work, you know. But that might be their plan. I don't know. I don't know what Vonnie's got planned for those running backs this week and those guys. So
yeah, it should definitely be interesting. I know, you know, looking at that team, I know, you know, with you know, Arturo playing quarterback. You know, definitely an athlete out there with a good arm. The only thing that I question sometimes, you know, they have playmakers. You think about the receiving core that they have. You know, you got Tyree, you got, you know, Dre playing receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the other guys, I apologize, I know by number. I just don't have the number here on the rosters. But some of those other guys making plays. But some of the time, you know, the quarterback play hasn't always been there. You know, like, some of the passes are just kind of just thrown up there sometimes, and it squanders, you know, a good possession that they might have. But when they're clicking, you know. So it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see, you know, how Vonnie calls his game. I know that he likes to watch a lot of film, you know, and he knows when something's coming in, you know, he's a student of the game in that aspect, you know. So that'll be interesting to me. It's gonna be interesting. I'm interested to watch. I won't get a chance to watch this game. I don't think, but I'm interested to watch film on this game. But coming to
we definitely. I mean, we got Agape out there doing the huddle for that specific game, just because our staff can't. You know, we're kind of spread thin to our other fields, but there should be some good film. Should be some.
Be interesting. But that takes me to the Outlaws. So coming off of a loss, you know, or excuse me, not a loss that week, but a close game, I guess you could say, score-wise. You know, 12-0 against the Scorpions.
Mm-hmm.
Outlaws team, you know, everybody can say what they want to say. You know, they show up. You know, they show up. They do their thing. You know, they have a lot of playmakers. You know, when you think about, I believe last week they had some injuries, and I think in the Silverback game had some injuries at wide receiver, from what I understand, which could have affected that game. But, you know, they have a ton of playmakers. That defense really carries that team, though.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting. I know that, you know, Blade gets a lot of attention, you know, with a lot of people trying to double team, you know, and things like that with him, and it opens it up for some of those other guys on the defense to make plays. The part that gets me, though, is going to be their offense. That's going to be the key. You know, I mentioned those playmakers, you know, on the offensive side of the ball, you know, but you got guys like CJ.
Yeah, I was going to say CJ.
I believe I want to say it's number 8, Jordan, I believe.
I think there's an old big guy receiver that travels from Tucson, plays on that team.
Okay. That
my man Reed.
So I was actually gonna get to that. So it's funny. Watching their film, and this is not even just for the Outlaws, though. This is for, you could go back and watch a lot of film, and I have a lot of free time to do that, you know, when I'm working and stuff like that. But one of the things that a lot of the teams in this league don't do is look to the middle of the field, and it's interesting. A lot of teams run a tight end, but they don't utilize the tight end.
Yep.
You know, and in looking at that, you got a guy like Raymond Reed who's got, you know, great blocker, you know, sure hands, only has, I believe, maybe 1 or 2 catches on the season and maybe 3 targets on the season, but wide open in the middle of the field for days, and the ball doesn't come his way.
So, disclaimer, Brandon, if you're listening, look over the middle.
Yeah, the middle of the field is there. I know that, but what's interesting in that same aspect is with the Lions, you think about the middle of the field and what they're doing. You know, you have a couple of guys back there. You know, I mean, you got Jake Reed back there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ball hawking safety back there.
Oh yeah, dude's a stud.
You know, so you think about that aspect, but
that's all he does though. He's afraid to come downhill though.
Yeah, Ben, I agree. Big body tight end. You know, solid hands, can block. But Vonnie said Raymond's an extra O lineman when he's in. Hey, listen, Vonnie, I'm not going to disagree with you, okay? But he's eligible to go out and get the ball.
He's got an eligible number.
He's got an eligible number, so I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that you're wrong. But we'll, you know, with the number 4, we'll leave that alone. You know, it only goes up to maybe his, you know, stomach or whatever the case might be. But
yeah.
You know, we'll leave that there. But no, in all seriousness, I think a lot comes down to that QB play. I think Brandon's an athlete.
Yep.
I don't know what the issue is. I don't think it's I don't know if it's the line. I don't know if it's just the you know, the what's the word I'm looking for?
You know, I'm gonna go out on a limb, and JP's probably gonna hate me, but I think it's the play calling. I'm just speculating.
Is he back calling the plays now?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know he had taken some time off away from it. And I know he's
a control freak like me.
Okay.
And he didn't like what he was seeing, but I mean, he's got some rings. Got, I think, more rings than any team in the league that's still in existence. So, it's something to be said about that. But at some point, you know, I think that, you know, anyways.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you know, some people take it to heart, some people don't. But, yeah, Brandon, look over the middle. Your man Reed's open. So, so score.
So, I think this one is going to be a pretty close game. I think it comes down to extra points. And actually, somebody just said Brandon won't be there for the Outlaws. So, not sure about
man
that.
Tony
That's
coming in.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if it's Tony that comes in and plays quarterback.
Man Aguilar, that dude's fun to watch. I know he's not his prime like he was years ago. People tell me the stories about him, but you know, smart dude from what I heard.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So that right there is interesting to hear. But I have the Lions winning this game. I think it's gonna be a close game, though. I think it comes down to, you know, a failed extra, you know, 2-point conversion or something like that. But I think it's gonna be. I have Lions 20, Outlaws 18.
Yeah, I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't. Vonnie's gonna say I'm just being petty if I say them to lose or I pick them to win. No, he doesn't believe that. But honestly, the Outlaws, just something's not clicking. And I know things are clicking for the Lions. You know, they're not great or perfect, but they definitely seem to be in a better, you know, position. So I got the Lions 14, Outlaws 12.
14-12, okay.
With Jake, my man Jake, with at least 2 picks. I know he won't get a pick 6 because he's too far back in the backfield. But
are you saying he's slow and can't outrun everybody, or
he don't like to get hit? So as soon as he starts running towards all the people, he starts. Go back and watch film. He'll start moving towards the sideline. Go back and watch it.
Okay.
He played for me for 2 seasons. I know exactly what he's up to. He'll go up and get the ball, and then he starts running. He's running straight to the sideline.
Now, is anybody else out of this game at all? Now that I'm thinking about it, is there anybody else that's not going to be in these games?
Yeah, Tim Smith's out.
Tim Smith is out, okay.
Suspension, and then they have a lineman that's out on suspension. Actually, 2 linemen out on suspension.
Okay, and that's okay. You're right. Okay, I do remember hearing about that. So,
but I don't think that's. I mean, it may play a factor in their game planning, but I don't think it's going to affect the game. I think they're going to roll right through the Outlaws like they would if those guys were there.
Okay, interesting. I was just curious on that because I know that, you know, sometimes you hear about people being out certain games, or you know they're not going to be there, whatever it might be, guys getting hurt, whatever the case might be, and sometimes that.
I can only speak for the league, like
Gotcha.
suspension wise, but I don't know if they've got injured players or who else is on vacation or things like that. But
Andrew, you want to know what's up with the 2-point leads, man? half the teams don't have kickers.
Correct, and they can't.
And if they do have a kicker, they can't block for the field goal, most of them. So going for 2 ends up being, huge on that. So I know
Yep.
interesting.
Yep. That's why I have a lot of 12s and 18s on mine.
Tim, you're not wrong. Free Tim Smith.
Make better choices.
I was just about to say that. Hey, listen. I saw
Why does
you.
he care? He's on vacation.
Yeah, aren't you on vacation this week anyway, Tim? Yeah. I know that you made a hell of a play in that Spartan game, and then launched your helmet.
Yep.
And you knew it was going to be on. Yeah, I was just saying your helmet.
I think it almost hit Ben too.
So I'm giving you a hard time, Tim, but we'll hope to see you back out there. So
yep. Cool.
Enjoy your vacation.
One more game left, huh?
Yeah.
Game of the week.
Game of the week.
Oh man.
Rebels Tide.
Oh, where do we start? I'll let you start. You're more familiar with the Roll Tide team when it comes to the players.
This is an interesting game for me. And I know another comment there. We got another free agent wide receiver. I think this is the last week to sign up, right? Just while I'm at it.
Nope. So technically, if you want to play in the playoffs, this is the last week to sign up.
Okay.
So you have to check into 5 games. So after week 5, we haven't had any rainouts or buys or like postponements on the actual week. So if you sign up this week, you can play next week. So you'll play games 6 through 10.
Gotcha. So just if anybody's looking for a receiver, game-making receiver, you have a receiver out there looking for somebody.
Technically, they could sign up to week 10. They just can't play in the playoffs. So
all right.
But hopefully that's clear. We're gonna get that re-outlined in the bylaws contract next year.
Cool. Anyways, cool. All right. So coming back to this game, so you have the Rebels Roll Tide. Definitely is going to be an interesting game. When you think about a team like the Roll Tide, they were in the league last year, came over from the DFL. Obviously, we know the season got cut short. They have a lot of playmakers. You think about just on the defensive side of the ball, you have some guys like Jordan Dixon. You got Andre Goodman. You got some playmakers on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep.
They may give up some big plays, but it's a lot of the time it's bend, don't break for them. But coming to the offensive side of the ball, they got a ton of playmakers over there as well. Their big question mark for me is the offensive line. I know that they lost a couple of offensive linemen. I know they've picked up some guys as well, but I know that they've lost. They lost their center, Tony Smith, and then I believe they lost. I want to say he was playing left tackle, Daniel Miller. And neither one of those guys is on the team anymore.
What happened? I saw them at the game a couple weeks ago, and they said they were back, and now they're not.
I don't know. What took place fully in there. I just know that they're not a part of the team anymore. I know that there was some stuff that might have taken place, and they're no longer associated with the team.
That's very unfortunate, man. There's a couple of the good dudes, man. At least my interactions have been with very,
Yeah, it's good dudes, and they're they're good at what they do. Centers want when you think about the O-line, with Tony you didn't have to worry about those bad snaps. Yeah. I know that this year I don't know who's playing center, and it's not a shot at them. It is what it is, but Jake's all over the place with looking for the ball.
Last year, Bo played center, I think, in one of their games. So.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's normally the heart of the O-line. Even though that may not be your best player, that's on the O-line. That's the place that someone. That's where you're looking at for the O-line.
To me, I think next to the quarterback, that's the second most important position is the center.
Yeah, and I could agree with you on that.
Kind of like a catcher and pitcher atmosphere.
But I think that's the key to the piece for me for the Roll Tide. I know that in talking to some of them, they've said that they've shored it up. So obviously we'll see. They have some great coaches over there that I think that you move the right people into that place, you can make it work. You can scheme certain things and maybe potentially hide a weakness. But that's the key for me. Jake is, and I saw this debate on Red Zone. It might have been last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. Jake is one of the better quarterbacks. If not, there's talks that he's one of the best quarterbacks in this league. I know people will say what they want to say.
I think from just a physical standpoint, yeah, but when he's running for his life every single play, it's hard for me to say he's one of the better ones.
And that's where I was going with that.
When you put the context in it, he's one of the best ones on a scramble and has to make something out of nothing, absolutely. But if you just put apples to apples, sorry, I'm not convinced yet. And I got a little running thing with Jake, pick six. But when it comes to leadership and just who he is as a person, oh yeah, he is one of the best when it comes to commanding an offense and guys respect, and I love that about him.
It's one of those that I think, like I said, everybody will have their own different opinion about it, and that's completely fine. I know that I've played with him, for some years on the Ravens when we played together. Yeah. And just seeing some of the passes that he can throw, in terms of where that ball goes and the pinpoint accuracy of, sometimes it's going to be only where his guy can get it. It'll be a sideline throw or whatever the case might be, right? But needless to say, on that same token, if he's running for his life, not that he can't make plays with his legs, right? Because we saw, he made some big plays with his legs, but that's not going to be his strength. His strength is getting the ball to his playmakers. Correct. So if they can't block for him, it's going to be a long day. Yep. If they block for him, I think it's going to be a closer game. So we'll see. Interested to see how that goes. But on the flip side of that now, you have the Rebels coming in 3-0, coming off a big win last week. Close game. That game was one that was definitely enjoyable to watch. Yeah. With the Phantoms. But, coming in, you've got, a new quarterback into the mix. When you think about you think about Lorenz coming in to a new offense. Yep. I'm not impressed. I know they're 3-0, but to see how many playmakers are on that team, and I haven't seen the offense. Come in and I haven't seen the offense do what I thought they were going to do. Let me put it that way. I expected them to, even with a new OC or whatever the case might be. I haven't seen it. Yeah.
I did see big-time coach Chris Lee walking the sidelines on the Rebels game last week. Now, rumor mill is he was just there to help. That's what I heard. I don't know. Can't confirm or deny that.
Okay.
But
that'll be interesting.
Anytime you have somebody like Chris Lee, Fisher, Parham, Wilkins, any OC, I haven't got to watch enough of Warford on the Tide yet, but I know he was in the NFL for a couple years, so I think his mind is there too. Anytime you see one of those coaches on the sideline, may not happen in that game, but something magical is about to kick off. And I hope for my man Lorenz, it starts sooner than later. Speaking of stats, so shout out to Dwight, Peanut, Fluker, Hollywood. Yeah. The defense. Shout out to Ed. The defense is winning those football games.
Yeah, I don't
because
disagree.
They're not letting anybody else score. So when you can only put up 6, 12 offensive points, you got to have a hell of a defense to pull off these wins.
Yeah.
Still doesn't change who I think is going to win tomorrow. But the point is, like, I'm kind of like you. I was expecting big things out of that offense. I know Guy's out this week for, had some incidences during the game, and he's out. So that's a big hit for those guys. Loren's going to have to think on his feet a little bit. I think the Tide defense is going to give him a little run for their money here and there. Not the whole game, but they'll get lucky.
I'm interested to see what kind of an offense they come out with, because somebody, Raph actually just mentioned it. So when I think about that game last week, and to watch Renz come out, and I want to say it was their first possession, might have been the second possession, but first possession come out and throw a 60-yard bomb, for a touchdown, right? And then after that, not really too much. He was under some pressure, but some bad throws as well. They didn't look in sync.
Mm-hmm.
And then Yeah,
not
consistent. Yeah, they'd make a couple plays here and there, and then, it wasn't consistent. But when I think about, and Raph just made the comment right now, I'm interested to see if they bring in some more of that Wildcat look to win that game on a Wildcat, to not have your quarterback in, when the game's on the line. It's a pretty ballsy call.
I know who made the call, but the point is, it was a good call at that time.
I agree. It caught him off surprise, I think.
Yeah, I didn't think they knew what to do. He hit that middle. It was all plugged up, bounced outside, and that was the game. So, but it was fun to watch. Like, I'm not even going to lie. It was a fun game, minus all the helmet throwing. But the Rebels, when they merged with the Sergeants, they definitely plugged some missing pieces they were looking for, and I think it's, but I'm anxious to see in 2 weeks or next Saturday when we have, hopefully we do this every Friday. Yep. I'm hoping. I'm curious to see how Coach Wilkins handles, Coach Love's defense from the Spartans.
Oh, that game is next week. Okay.
Yeah, that's next Saturday.
Okay.
So that's going to be a fun game. We can talk about that next week.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
But the Rebels' schedule has not been easy either. Like they've been playing. I think they've only had one on. I think they've played all conference games. I'll have to go back and check.
I think one of their games wasn't a conference game, if I'm not mistaken, because didn't they?
I'm going to get all my facts outlined going into next week. We did this on a whim tonight. I literally texted you an hour before we get on. Hey, you want to do this? So, guys, be prepared next week. We'll come with a lot more notes, have some clips for you, and pick some things apart, get some stats on there for you. I know the stats are week 3s are almost fully updated. So we're doing a lot better than last year, so the stats are on there. If you guys are missing stats, talk to your team owners about why you don't have jersey numbers on your rosters. But back to the game. So I love the Tide. I love Coach Austin and Coach Warford, but I don't think the Tide are ready for a Rebels-type team. The Rebels are some just drag down, hit you hard, swarm to the ball, their offense, regardless of, the stats, they're still a dynamic offensive team.
Hey, 3-0 is 3-0. Doesn't matter how you get it done.
Ian Robinson, one of my favorite players in the league. He's just a workhorse. He never stops moving his feet. I love watching him play. Hopefully he gets to the next level. We got some things working with the league and the XFL, so hopefully we can get him in front of that scout in a few weeks. But just in general, I'm going to have to give it to the Rebels. Unfortunately, this is where it's going to sting a little bit. 18-0.
18-0. Okay.
I don't think poor Jake. It's going to be like watching their championship game in the DFL.
All right, we're not going to talk about that. That one hits close to home for me, but
just a little, just a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit, but so I'm interested to see. I have it as a closer game. I do have the Rebels winning.
Hey, go ahead, keep talking.
I think the Rebels win 24-18. But obviously I'm gonna say that's contingent upon Jake, not running for his life. Their defense is gonna make plays. I know saw a play last week where I want to say it was Dylan Alderman coming off that edge, and it was a clean hit too. Perfect tackle, fumble, they recovered the ball, and I believe they actually went down and I believe that's the drive that they scored on. I could be wrong, but needless to say, I think that defense is gonna make big plays. But yeah, I have it 24-18, Rebels.
Oh, so Warford's running the offense, right?
I believe so, yeah.
I met him the first time it's probably been 2 months now, but him and I hit it off great, man. Great dude. I think that's going to be a coaching matchup right there between him and Ed Love.
It's going to be a chess match.
Let's see who can play the best,
Go ahead.
I was saying, how many pawns are they willing to sacrifice to get the extra queen? You know what I mean? If anybody plays chess.
The only thing I'll say there, though, is and it's not just this game, it's in general. So you think about these coaches and different things like that. They can only put, you can put people in the right position. It's people have to make those plays.
Yeah.
You think about the chess match, it's great, but are they going to make the plays when they're needed, or, does it not work out? Does somebody not do their assignment the way they're supposed to because they're trying to overcompensate? Or there's a lot of different stuff that comes in there.
I think that's what makes you a great chess master is when you know they'll make the plays. You know they will make that, So, but that's it, man. I got Rebels 18, Tide 0. Game of the week.
24-18 Rebels. So we'll see what we'll see.
So what are the comments? Raph's been sending me some stuff. So.
I don't know. A lot of people. It's funny. They were actually literally talking about field goals in here for like 10 minutes. So it's kind of funny that people were talking about that. But no, it's just.
We all know if you have a field goal kicker on your team, that's better than having an awesome quarterback, in my opinion. Because that one. I mean, that's how the Spartans went to the championship year 2, right? By 1 point.
Yeah.
By a field goal.
Not wrong. No, there's some comments in here. People are saying a few people said that the Wildcat piece wouldn't work. There was some
it worked last week.
Bad referee calls that took place.
Oh, Jesus,
I don't really want to go into that.
Shouldn't have left it in the refs' hands.
But needless to say, we'll see. But yeah, mostly it's can we find refs for making bad calls? So I'll be honest with you. With that, they actually people don't want to hear this, but the referees are going to make the call that they're going to think is right on the field at that time. They're going to come together. Obviously, it's easy for us to come back looking at film and say, "Oh, this was a bad call," But you think about stuff like college, the NFL, things like that. They have all those cameras and stuff, and they're doing it real time where they're going and looking at that stuff. I don't always agree sometimes with all the stuff the refs do or call. But I think that they do the best that they can with what they're provided in terms of what we've got, right?
So I had this conversation with a Phantoms player it's probably been 4 months ago now at practice, because he was complaining about the refs, and I asked him, how would you like me to fix it? And he said, get better refs. I said, that's not an acceptable answer. We need to get better refs. And I said, okay, we can get NFL refs. They get paid anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a game.
Just about to say that. Yep.
Actual D1 refs, like Pac-12, they're from what I'm being told, they're anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000, depending on their experience and the position. So I said, hey man, I'm all for that. I'll just jack the player fees up to $1,000 a player, and we can fly guys in from all over the country. And he kind of looked at me like I was stupid, but that's just the honest answer. Like, I've also thought about hiring the other league's refs and let them ref our games for a weekend and see how well we do. Just, like I said, they're not perfect. They're not great. Could they be better? Yeah, so could I. So could you. So could the players. And everybody can do better no matter what. But it's how we conduct ourselves overall that really kind of determines the outcome of whatever that situation is.
I agree.
I agree. But that's just me being my dad's speech. But I'm working on it.
Got people talking about you're crazy, thinking that the Tide aren't going to score any points.
Nope.
They think you're nuts.
Show me. I'm gonna be like you.
Jake said you're crazy. He just said 18-0, and he basically said it in like a Soldier Boy voice, like 18-0, that type of thing. So,
hey, whatever fuels them to win. Listen. Now that we're live and we can actually have this conversation and people can see my face and they can hear my tone. Most of my picks are reverse psychology. It's me poking fun at a team to see what they're going to do. Are they going to stand up and they're going to, just like Vonnie, coming out with his out coach shirt on. At first I was kind of like, yeah, that's kind of disrespectful. But, hey, whatever motivates him to keep wanting to be the best and win a championship, that's to me, my job's accomplished in that sense.
Not wrong.
Whether however you want to put it, right? Just whatever motivates you. Some people get mad. I get calculated. So
Darian, I don't disagree with you. Like, there's still back to the ref thing, right?
Okay.
But one thing that I will say is, they're not going to get everything perfect. I know that, and everybody wants to hear this, but they do obviously go watch the film too, right? Like, I know that's something that they go in and they're watching film on certain things. I know if stuff is sent to Matt or to the league, hey, take a look at this play or whatever the case might be.
And I will give you guys the protocol. You take the play whatever the number is, whatever the situation is, you take that to your head coach owner. He will email the rules message and myself, okay? And then we will give the explanation, or the head ref will admit that he made a mistake, but at the end of the day, to me, the refs aren't throwing helmets and trying to fight people. At least I don't think they are. I may be wrong, but and I don't want the commission picks to be about the refs. But
yeah,
that's the protocol, guys. If you have a complaint, if there's something that's valid that you think needs to be addressed, get with your head coach, get with your owner, write up the email, send it into rules at azcfl.com. Within probably 48 hours, you get a response. Be careful what you say, because I do get CC'd on all those responses. So if you're bashing me, just send me directly the email. Don't waste their time. Send it right to me. But to finish on a positive note, we're about an hour in. I'm excited for tomorrow's games.
Yeah.
Fields will be right by each other, so you guys will be able to, if you're getting up early enough to go catch those 2 Sunny Slope games where you come to Cortez or whatever.
Yeah, because we're at Sunny Slope tomorrow, 2 games. Cortez has
1.
4.
Has 4, yep.
And then Yonkers has the 1 game, right?
1 game at 7. Yeah. And then if anybody's adventurous, headed up to Prescott. I'll be headed up to Prescott probably in maybe not 2 weeks, but 4 weeks. Get a little warmer up there. And then as soon as Tucson's open, I'll be headed down there.
I can't with these comments.
Bro, just let's have them, man.
No, so instead of the Tide putting up normal points, they're saying that, Jake, for every 100 steps on your Fitbit running for your life, we'll give the Tide a point. So, Jake, I'm going to leave that alone. I know I want you to, do your thing. But, yeah, I'm definitely on it, kind of like you said. I'm excited. One thing, it's good to have football back. You think about what we went through last year.
Yep.
Even with the NFL, college, not even just from a football perspective, but just a sports perspective in general.
Yeah.
With everything that went on last year and even into this year.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the doubts of where we're going to have a season, even though it hasn't always been what we want it to be, we have a season.
It's not perfect. I'll tell you that.
It's not perfect. It's not what we shot for fully, but to have a season is great. As much flack sometimes as some of these guys give the league. I know at the end of the day they're thankful for it. I'm thankful for it as well because I enjoy coming to be around the game. So I'm excited for tomorrow.
I think it's going to get funner though as we move through the season because things will start opening up. The locker rooms hopefully will be back in a couple of weeks. We're gonna work on this show a little bit more.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a couple of our shows we had that were going to come out, they those particular people backed out or just don't want to do it or whatever their issues are. But Intel's rocking pretty smooth. Jesse's got that locked down on Thursday nights. Sounds like we might be doing ours Friday night. Maybe we'll see. We'll see how the missus is.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I think people have enjoyed it. It gives them something to do, something to look forward to. So We'll go back, take a look, and.
I know when at 8:00 on Thursday night, if those commission picks aren't up, my DM is on fire. Just where are you at? Why is this not done? A lot of them, they use that for their Thursday night practices, but
right.
But overall, it's fun, man. I enjoy it. It's a lot easier to do it this way. I mean, it'll be a lot funner. But no, the season. I think the season's going to be great. Those of you guys that are watching, wasn't really going to get too crazy, but we do have a scout from the XFL that's looking at some of our players. So please, be mindful of who's in the stands, who's watching. I don't know if anybody knew, but last week the new facility owners were at the Yonker games, and they got to witness all the meltdowns. So, just keep that stuff in mind when you know that you're next to the Gatorade bottles and the cigarettes in the parking lot and stuff like that. Like there's bigger things in play.
Yeah, that'll take me to my thing, and then I'll piggyback on that, guys. There's a lot of stuff that everybody looks at this, and they ask what. I think I saw this, and I almost made a comment on this on Red Zone, and I don't remember how recent it was. Might have actually even been today, but somebody made a comment. What do these leagues do? Not even just the CFL, but what do all the leagues in Arizona? What are they doing to try to get players somewhere? And we all, we hear that talk all the time. I can say that there's a lot of stuff that goes on the back end that you guys will start to see. But we've got to have something to be able to put out there too. So like Matt said, you never know who's going to come out, and it doesn't even have to. It could be anybody, that comes out.
Yep.
It could be somebody saying, "Hey, my cousin's a coach here," and he comes out, or whatever the case might be. You just never know who's watching. So, kind of just put that out there.
And another thing too, a lot of players coach either high school or college here locally, and I've heard stories recently, within the last couple months, of players being denied coaching positions because of the way they conduct themselves in our level of football.
That doesn't surprise me either.
No, I don't want the way he acts at the games and on the field. I don't want that in our program. So, some guys take it to heart. Some think we're just old grumpy dudes, but
hey, I'll take that.
It is working. And Raph just mentioned to me, guys, we're still working on the internet at Cortez because they're on spring break. There's some issues going on there, but can't promise you the game will be live 100% tomorrow. But we are going to record it just like a live game, and we will put it up on the Facebook page. We have all of our tech issues figured out when it comes to the game itself. It's the school that we're dealing with. Same thing at Yonker. It was a school we were dealing with. So that's the future growth, right? So
I do want to just put one more thing out there, but just before we finish up, and it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with people coming out to the games. But guys, the one thing that we've got to do a better job at, and I appreciate you guys been doing a good job at it, like on the field, is like cleaning those fields up, right? Different things like that. I'm not going to go into, we're all adults.
I'm putting that on the player reps. They're supposed to be.
I appreciate the player reps and people for doing that. But I will tell you, I made a post on Red Zone about it, but we're still finding, nonsense in the parking lots,
in the stands.
in the stands.
We actually, just so they think we're not joking, we kicked some fans out for drinking.
Yeah. Yep.
So, it's not my rules.
Yeah.
That's the school rules. Trust me, we get into our stadium next year, that's, some of this stuff's going to be a thing of the past, so.
So that's just, like I said, guys, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse with that. I don't, it is what it is. Just do your best with that. I'll be honest with you. Let me just be blunt. I don't want to pick your trash up. I'm just gonna be, plain honest with you. It is what it is. But, and I think there was one last thing, real quick, somebody wanted to hit on.
And funner is a word, Zach.
Funner? Is it?
It's not. But
I was going to say I didn't think so. Okay. Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute.
He likes to critique my English when he knows I'm not an English guy. I'm a math guy.
But there is one more thing. Somebody wanted to hear. Maybe you can. I don't know. Maybe it's not the right place to address it. But somebody said there was a rumor that the AZFL is building a facility. Is that true?
The AZFL?
The AZCFL. Excuse me. The AZCFL is building a facility in the next coming time.
Let me put it this way.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but that came up twice now on these comments.
You guys want to know why I'm not doing so much hands-on? I'm going to start there. They're all going to be like, huh? Because some of you will not be coming with me. Because I'm not investing millions of dollars in a stadium to have it get shit on. And I will leave it at that.
So, guys, more to come, with different things coming down the line. I know a couple of people have mentioned those, the rumors and different things coming on. So, more to come.
More to come. Usually,
yeah.
But the disclaimer, usually when it's a rumor about me in some way, shape, or form, there is a little bit of truth to it, good or bad.
So we'll come back to that more, guys. I could tell you that I played in this league for a long time, even before it was the AZCFL and what it's turned into now, and there's a lot of good things coming down the pipeline. One thing that, if you know anything about me, I don't associate myself with something that I don't see a vision for and that I don't see a character behind. So if that tells you anything with what's coming down the pipeline, you guys will start to see that. So
yep. We got to get through this season first.
Yeah, I agree.
I just want to finish our season and give these guys what I promised them and what they paid for,
Yep, but other than that, man, like you said, I'm excited for tomorrow. Guys, will
be a fun game.
Be interesting. I know I'll just throw one thing out there so I don't have to post it tonight for anybody that's watching this. So for Sunny Slope, the gates for the player and the fans, the gates for the players won't open up until probably about 8:45. And the fans we won't be starting to let in until about 9:15. So just want to give you all a heads up. for that. So,
Yep.
and I think it'll probably be right around the same for Cortez as well, but
Cool.
we'll see. So,
All right, guys. Like, share, post. Do it. What do they say at the end of those videos? Like, share.
right,
I mean,
like,
whatever.
share, post, tell all your friends.
I'm really hoping we're gonna do this every week, man.
It'll be
think
fun.
we'd
I mean, guys, give us your feedback. I mean, like I said, I know we
Yes,
kind of
please.
just threw it together this week.
Yeah, this was totally on the whim. I could show you the message. I messaged him at like 6 o'clock. It was like, hey, I'm going to the office. Do you want to meet me to do the show? So if it's better to do it this way, we will do it this way. We'll be a little more prepared with some clips, some highlights.
Yeah, we'll have clips, highlights, stats, that
We're
type
able
of
to
stuff.
call people.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, if anybody would like to potentially come on as a guest, don't come on doing no dumb stuff.
Hey,
right?
we at least can screen those calls. But yeah, we definitely could have some guests on here via, call in through the mixer board. So.
Or if there's anything in terms of, let's just say, comments or if there are messages, something you want us to talk about, in terms of a game. I mean, you guys are a lot. I'm pretty close to the game. I get a lot of scoop on stuff. But if there's something that you guys want us to discuss, internal drama, whatever it might be, right, that's going to put fire, make this
Might as well.
that much better, definitely feel free to
It'll be a fun show then.
reach out to us.
We'll try to keep it as minimal, petty as possible. But
I hate to say it, but it is what it is.
They don't want Matt on the petty Sunday because I won't have a job. But all right, guys, shout out to you. Thank you. I will see you guys around the field tomorrow. Those of you at Yonker, have a great game. Please remember that school is still watching us for our future events and for the Lions home games. Those of you guys traveling up to Prescott, be safe.
Yep.
Take your time. Plan accordingly. Hawks, good luck. Silverbacks, get the win. And one last shout out to just got to throw it out there. Martwan Weaver, you need to lose some damn weight.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all, man.
Later. Have a good one.